Good morning. I wish to welcome everyone and officially declare the meeting open at 9 a.m. Could I remind everybody that Council's ordinary meetings are open to the public and are also recorded and available for viewing after the meeting to provide access to all community members. Attendees in the gallery may be recorded. I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians on this land on which we stand, the Gulnay people, and acknowledge my respect for their current and emerging elders and those in the dreaming. We thank them for their contributions that they have made in building our community. I would like to welcome Pastor Joshua Symes from the Innisfail Baptist Church to conduct the opening prayer. Good morning. How are you?
Morning.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite, and the Mayor, councillors and community. Before I pray, I just thought I'd read a scripture. And as we come into the season, the Christmas season, a lot of people are preparing for Christmas, a lot of people preparing for the storm season. I know SCS, we were there last night, finishing off our preparations. But this is a passage that prepares people for Christmas, the coming of the Christ. It's about John the Baptist, the birth of John the Baptist. An angel told Zechariah, John's father, "Do not be afraid. Your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you shall call his name John. And you'll have joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth. And he will be great before the Lord, and he must not drink wine or drink strong drink. And he will be filled with the Holy Spirit, even from his mother's womb. And he will turn many of the children of Israel to the Lord their God. And he will go before him in the spirit of the power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready for the Lord a people prepared." As we enter this season of Christmas, it's a good reminder that God had a plan, and a plan for people to be turned back to him. The restorative effect of that is that fathers and children and communities are restored as well. And so as we enter this time of Christmas, my prayer will be that we rediscover the community spirit that Christ can offer us all. Let me pray. Father God, I thank you for your love and your mercy and your grace. And I thank you for the time of seasonal reminders of your gift to us in Jesus. I pray that we might be prepared to hear the good news each year. And I pray for our councillors as they prepare for this season of summer and Christmas, and Lord, that as a community we'll enjoy the restorative effects, that families will be reconnected and broken relationships restored. And Father God, I pray for the council for wisdom in this meeting, that you might guide them and lead them, and that they will make wise decisions for our community, that we might see a community that is restored, a community that's one in it together, working together for one cause. I ask and pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you very much, and you have a great day.
Let's see you before Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Yes. Move on to apologies. Are there any apologies? No apologies? Okay. I now invite those present to use this opportunity to make public any prescribed conflicts of interest or declarable conflicts of interest in respect of the items in the agenda. Councillors should use this opportunity to disclose and or comment on other councillors and or staff interests in accordance with the Act and regulations. Do we have any declarations? Councillor Pervin.
Yes, through the chair, thank you. Item 8.1 I have a declarable conflict of interest in item 8.1. The item relates to a company that's on my register of interests, so I'll be leaving the room for this item.
Thank you. Are there any further declarations? No further declarations. Thank you. Okay, I've just got an announcement to make. So we are announcing level 1 water restrictions. This has come about because rainfall has been low across Queensland and including the Cassowary Coast. I know we live in the wettest place, but unfortunately this is what happens. Even though we're in the wettest place of Australia, the water is still precious. Our water comes from natural running creeks and is a shared resource that depends on rainfall. When the weather heats up, the creeks slow down. So at the same time, water usage has increased. Since the start of November, it's jumped up 13%, which is an extra 2.39 million litres being used every day. We're introducing level 1 water restrictions from Friday, the 28th of November, which is tomorrow. This will help keep the creeks flowing and meet the community demand. So please be mindful on your usage of water, and restrictions apply to all private, commercial and industrial sectors. For more information, you can go to our council website. Some of the restrictions mean that you can use sprinklers and irrigation systems on alternate days, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning and 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the evening. For odd number houses, that's Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. For even numbered houses, that's Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. No automatic sprinklers can be used on Monday. Only a top up existing ponds with a handheld hose. Do not operate fountains unless supplied by recycled water. No hosing of paved areas except in the event of a fire, accident or for health reasons or in an emergency situation. Only top up existing pools during watering times. Only fill mobile water tankers between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Written permission from council is required to do that. For the construction industry, hoses must not be used except trigger hoses unless you receive a written exemption from council. I encourage everyone to monitor their water usage and follow the rules when you can. Be muchly appreciated. As I said, for more information, you can go to the council's website at cassowarycoast.qld.gov.au/water. Thank you. Now move on to minutes of the local government meeting. Call for a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Jessup. Seconded by Councillor Littlemore. Those in favour? Carried, thank you. Go on to item 2, business arising. Has anybody got any business arising? No business arising. Thank you. Item 3.1, receipt of the minutes. I now call for a mover and seconder to confirm the receipt of the following minutes. Traffic Advisory Committee meeting held 5th of November 2025 and Speed Management Advisory Committee held 5th of November 2025. Moved by Councillor Baines, seconded by Councillor Pervin.
Chair, can I just speak to that for a second as well? Just on those minutes there, at the previous Traffic Advisory Committee meeting, the issue was raised about works that are currently being undertaken on main roads. Just to inform, like, I think yourself, Mayor, other councillors, I know myself, we've been approached by members of the public with what's actually happening in certain areas. So from these minutes, it's actually gone back to TMR and they've actually organised a meeting with councillors, yourself and I think the CEO next week in relation just to give us a rundown exactly what's happening with some of these works that are undertaken. So just thought I'd, yeah.
Okay, so and then we can relay that through our comms so that everybody knows what's happening there. Thank you for that. So I've got a mover and a seconder, so those in favour? Carried, thank you. Move on to 4.1, policy review, and Ms Kerr will present.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning, Ms Kerr.
Today's policy review consists of several policies that are being reviewed and one recommended for rescinding. The policies are attached with track changes where possible. The first policy is the confidentiality policy. So if you recall, not last meeting, the meeting before, Council adopted a new privacy policy to implement some of the changes to the Information Privacy Act and the Right to Information Act. So we had a combined policy previously titled the Information Privacy and Confidentiality Policy. They've now been split. So we just have a privacy policy, and then today's policy that's recommended for adoption is purely a confidentiality policy. It outlines what types of information are classed as confidential as opposed to private, and how those that type of information is held by council, and then also how it's disclosed should someone apply to council under the Right to Information Act. The human rights policy has been reviewed with one minor amendment recommended, and the trade waste policy has been reviewed by the water and wastewater team with no recommended amendments. We also have a parklet policy that has been recommended for rescinding. When that policy was first implemented, we've had no uptake from any operators under that policy for that particular type of parklet area for outdoor dining and such in the CBD areas. So the officer's recommendation is that council adopt the following policies: the confidentiality policy, the human rights policy and the trade waste policy, and further that the parklet policy be rescinded. Thank you.
Councillor Pervin.
Yes, through the chair. So the parklet policy that it's up for rescinding today, if there was to be an uptake in that in time to come, that policy could be put back on the table.
Through the chair, if the team receive inquiries from any businesses that are looking for that sort of outcome again, it particularly was brought in effect during COVID to increase the outdoor dining space. So yeah, if the team receives some inquiries, we can certainly bring that back to council.
Probably further to that, I just want to make it clear that the parklet policy doesn't refer to outdoor dining, because people might get confused that parklet means that there's no outdoor dining, but that they're two different things altogether. So
What to do with their car parking?
that's right. Councillor Jessup.
I think with the uptake of people now, they're looking for more parks than they are parklets.
Yeah,
So I think this is a natural thing to do, and I'm happy to support that one.
so you're moving that, Councillor Jessup?
Happy to second.
Thanks, Councillor Baines. Any more comments?
With the comment, if I may,
Sure.
this isn't the sexy stuff in council, and Ms Kerr and her team do astounding work trolling through legislation. Trolling is probably not a good word, but it almost feels like that when you're trolling through legislation and the way that there are amendments made to things. So I just want to commend them on the work that they do, and that keeping control of these policies very important as we're going through, because I do believe the state checks on them occasionally, do they not? So
Through the chair, they certainly do desktop reviews of our website to ensure our policies are
Yeah.
date and correct.
very good work.
Well, I thought you would have added in there, Councillor Baines, that we got good reviews yesterday also by the
Awesome reviews
on
from the audit.
our team are doing. So
Yep.
I
Yeah.
can
And final word,
feel,
governance rocks.
yeah, right. Okay. So that's those all those in favour? All carried. Thank you. Thank you. 4.3.
4.2.
Oh, 4.2, I've missed one. Oh, put my glasses on. Delegations update, also presented by Ms Kerr.
Thank you. As per the Local Government Act, Section 257, council is required to update delegations from council to the Chief Executive Officer when amendments have been made to a particular act, newly identified delegations have been recommended, or powers under an existing act are required for operational purposes. Today's report details 5 items of legislation where delegation to the Chief Executive Officer is recommended for efficiency of operations and to ensure council's legislative obligations are being met. The recommendation is that pursuant to Section 257 of the Local Government Act 2009, council resolves to delegate the exercise of all powers as per Appendix A to the report to the Chief Executive Officer, being the Food Act 2006, Information Privacy Act 2009, Public Records Act 2023, Right to Information Act 2009, and the Work Health and Safety Regulation 2011. And that council repeal all prior delegations to the Chief Executive Officer made under those acts. And 3, that these powers be exercised subject to any limitations as stated in the instrument of delegation in Appendix A, which reflects no delegation can be actioned without budget, resourcing, things like that. So thank you, Chair.
So Ms Kerr, these have come about that they're actual changes within the Act.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. And we do review these delegations every year. So I just want to make that clear too.
Correct.
Happy to move.
Councillor,
Happy to move.
thanks, Councillor Chewy. Councillor Baines,
I'm happy to move, but I would
it's already been moved.
move secondly. Excuse my wording this morning. I would say, and draw everyone's attention in the pack, have a look at the delegations and the Appendix A, because we get accused sometimes of, these extraordinary powers, but that's one of the controls that is around the delegations and how it works. So if people get these ideas in their heads that council aren't in charge, have a look at some of that and see what's going on. So it's worth a read.
Thank you. And through the chair, it's also, I think, important to note that council at any time can ask for any decision to come to a full council meeting.
Yeah.
Even if it is delegated or something.
Any further comments? No? Those in favour?
Thank you.
Eric, thank you.
Second.
But now we move on to 4.3. This is the 2025 service catalogue and Ms Kerr will present.
Thank you. So today's, as you mentioned, it's presenting the service catalogue. So a service catalogue is a structured central reference that lists all the services that council provides to the community, businesses and internal stakeholders. Its purpose is both strategic and operational, helping councils manage, deliver and communicate their services more effectively. Council is committed to delivering services that align with its strategic goals. Through continuous planning, review and improvement, council ensures services provide value while meeting community expectations, legislative requirements and long-term objectives. The service catalogue highlights all council services by operational divisions. It is important to note that this is different to councillor electoral divisions. The recommendation is that council adopt the service catalogue 2025.
Thank you. And I just want to make mention that this is the first time I think that council's adopted a service catalogue, and the work that went into putting it together was enormous. So those people that really want to know what gets done in council, I really encourage you to have a look at it and have a read, because it is much more than just rates, rubbish and roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Councillor Jessup.
I think too, if someone does have a problem and they need to contact council, they can look at this document. They know exactly who it is they're going to be speaking, what the framework is, whether you want corporate or community or whether you want infrastructure. This is 67 pages of information that they can gain without even having to make a phone call. So
Correct.
I think it's a wonderful piece. Happy to move.
Thank you. It'll be clearly displayed on our website,
Correct.
I believe. Very easy to find and look at. So
Happy to second, Chair.
happy to second, councillor. Thank you. Any further comments? All those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. We move on to 4.4, 25-26 financial performance report, and Mr Smith will present.
Hey, morning, councillors.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning, Mr. Smith.
Okay. The first report I've got this morning is the monthly finance performance report. Just run through the highlights. Operational revenue end of October was $55.2 million, less than budget by $3.9 million. Operational expenditure year to date was $44.3 million, which is greater than budget by $632,000. Resulting in an operational profit for the year to date of $10.9 million, lower than budget expectations by $4.6 million, largely due to the prepayment of the 25-26 financial assistance grant. Total capital expenditure, including commitments, represents 37% of the $106 million capital budget. And at the end of the month, cash balance was $70.5 million, which includes $35 million of fixed term investments. In the body of the report, as far as revenue goes, there's been no major change to the commentary in any of those areas. Fees and charges continue to be over budget in the building development and transfer stations. Interest revenue is on track. Operating operating grants and contributions relate to the financial assistance grant, which we've spoken about each month now. We'll propose an update in BR1. Probably the main one is sales and recoverable is over budget by $255,000. That's due to an invoice that was raised some funding that we've received from DETSI for sand nourishment across the region, and that'll be updated in BR1 as well. On the expenditure side, again, no major change to the commentary. I'll just make comment on the employee expenses is at 3% over budget, well within the 10% attrition rate. It's come back a little bit since the end of September. The major item that's in employee expenditure over budget is the other line, which includes things like termination benefits, paid parental leave, which is unbudgeted, and an efficiency saving that's budgeted in there, which we need to work through. On the capital side of things, capital grants, the same grants are listed we've had previous months, so they are carried over from the prior year. They'll be updated in BR1 as well. And then, as I mentioned, capital expenditure is 37% of the current $106 million budget, with 33% of the year elapsed. There's the usual tables with the borrowings and investments detailed in the report as well, and the recommendations that council receive and note the 25-26 financial performance report for October 2025. Could I take any questions?
Thank you. So I'll probably more of a comment, but whilst we say it's an operational profit, is it true to say that that's falsified by that financial assistance grant partially?
Yeah, so that actually is saying it would actually be more than that if we had received that financial assistance grant. But so it's an operational profit because we've received the rates revenue, but we haven't yet spent all of that operational expenditure coming through. So
Very good, thank you. The other question, or more of a comment as well, was to do with the capital grant revenue, where we say that there's variances and there's carryover, but I just want to point out that even though there is carryover, these projects are still on time and on budget. That doesn't mean that they've gone over budget or over the time that they're due to be delivered in.
through the yes, that's correct.
Yeah, thanks. Any other comments? No.
Happy to move.
Councillor Baines. Seconded by Councillor Jessup. Those in favour? Carried, thank you. Move on to budget review 1 and back over to you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Through the chair, this report is the quarterly budget review 1 for 25-26. So the purpose of this report is present to council the revised budget for 25-26, inclusive of proposed adjustments identified during the first quarter budget review, covering the period 1st of July to 30th September. Budget review 1's been completed to include amendments to both operating and capital budgets, largely as a result of new funding that's been identified or received. Notifications will be received. Proposed adjustments result in changes such as in the operating side, operating deficit position, remains unchanged compared to the adopted budget, and it remains at $2.9 million deficit. Operating revenue has increased by $1.7 million to $26.6 million, and offsetting that is operational expenditure has also increased by $1.7 million to $129.5 million. In regards to the capital budget, we're proposing to reduce the capital budget from $106.7 million down to $91.5 million, a decrease of $15.2 million. On the body of the report on the operational side, so revenue-wise, we're proposing to increase fees and charges by $145,000. This will help fund the increase in the shopfront improvement program that council adopted at a special meeting in October. We have received a number of received a number of grants, operating grants. They're listed in the report there. I won't go through all of them. I'll take it that they're read. In regards to the financial assistance grant, we are proposing to rephase that grant to account for a 50% prepayment in next June, in in accordance with timing that we had for this financial year. So we'd expect that would be around June of next year. We'll note that that subject of that, the timing of that grant is subject to Commonwealth government. We don't have any influence over that. So sales and recoverable works we're proposing to increase that by 795,000, which is the revegetation and sand nourishment across the foreshores funding that we've received. Employee expenses, proposing to increase the budgets for employee expenses in relation to some, I'll just get the words right, community recovery and resilience officers in those areas for both the Jasper and 2025 events, as well as a fixed term waste education officer funded through a contribution from the council's curbside waste contractor. And materials and services have been increased in accordance with the grants as well. Capital wise, in the capital budget, we're proposing a decrease to the current budget of $15.2 million. The budget review has finalised the carryovers from last financial year into this financial year. That's now at $33.7 million, which is 7.7 million higher than the estimate budget. The review also went through and had a look at what any other adjustments that would be required, take into account things like the delivery capacity, new funding and modification to budget. So there's a list of the capital budgets, capital projects there that we're proposing to either move back to reserves or defer for this financial year, and some commentary there on each of those. It's important to note that we're not, none of these projects are being deleted or scrapped. They're just being deferred and maybe being a little bit more realistic about when we can deliver those projects. There are still a couple of risks and opportunities that we haven't yet fully fleshed out. So waste collection, sewage and waste charges and allowances on the risk side, but we have some opportunities in waste transfer station fees and development and fees and charges that may offset some of those, and we'll bring those back to council in a future budget review. The recommendation is that council adopt the following as tabled in the attached appendices to the report. One, the amended statements for 25-26 financial year. A, the statement of comprehensive income. B, statement of financial position. C, statement of changes in equity. And D, statement of cash flow. 2, the amended long-term financial forecast. 3, the amended measures of financial sustainability as described in the Financial Management Sustainability Guideline. And 4, the amended capital works program for 25-26.
Councillor Chewy.
Happy to move, and just if I may, through the chair, as you talked about some of the projects being deferred, and that sometimes is beyond our council's control. I use the Curramine Beach car park as an example. Until there is a boat ramp built, which is not our domain, council cannot proceed with the car park. So it's not always council, community think it's all council's responsibility, but I just wanted to clarify that things are sometimes out of our hands. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I also just wanted to, so that waste and that being higher than budget, do you think relates to the contamination rate and the charges involved with that?
Through the chair, our waste fees and charges are certainly up at the transfer stations, although we've seen that normalise somewhat with the free transport days. But absolutely, the contamination we're seeing in our recycling bins is still sitting around 40 to 50%. So all those individuals in the community that are doing the hard work and actually sorting and separating and diverting that waste, some of that effort at the moment is being, I guess, undone by the work of some others. So if we do have a contaminated load hit the material recycling facility in Cairns, it's rejected, and that commodity, those the aluminium, the steel, the cardboard that is in that load is then diverted to landfill. So this role will be critical to provide some targeted targeted education. And if you've ever had your bin, recycling bin not picked up because of contamination, or if you've had a letter in the mail that your bin was severely contaminated, then this individual will be providing some support, some conversations and some education around how to do that. No one likes having to wait another 2 weeks to have that bin emptied.
No, and the other thing I looked at in here was the 400K for 1 mile dredging. So I just want to make it very clear that people out in the community think that we got given a big fat check for $1.5 million to do the dredging. We've never received any check for any amount of money. What we have done is done the job, and we will only be paid for the job that was done. So that's why there's that 400K in there. So simply the job that was done didn't cost the whole amount. So therefore the government pays us for what was done, and we have to make an amendment in our financials to cover that. Councillor Jessup,
Yes,
is that right?
So the job that was done was to the guidelines. We did the job to the guidelines.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you'll have people thinking that, well, if you had all that extra money, why didn't you do more?
Oh, no, yeah, that's
So
correct. Thank you.
if we tell them, and as it is, the guidelines state what we can do. We did that. It only cost 400, not 1.5.
No, it didn't cost 400. It cost,
Through,
whatever it was.
through the chair, there was absolutely no envelope of cash with $1.5 million, no cheque for $1.5 million. We undertook less than 1,000 tonne, which was what the legislation
sad.
allowed us to deliver. Delivered that successfully. We then saw another 11,000 cubic metres of material pushed out to the mouth following that February flooding event. We then undertook some Category C work to remove the debris that the flooding event put into the basin to make it safe. And we have, certainly just not spent that money, so not had to put in an acquittal to have that money paid. But as the Mayor stated, it's purely just adjusting our budget. It's an in and out. The income that was budgeted to come in and the expense that was budgeted to go out of that additional 400,000 didn't occur. And thankfully now the state of Queensland, the Carissa Fully government, will be coming in to complete the job.
And under other operating contributions, the additional $17,000 that's amended in the budget for aged care reform and community cohesion program, that was actually a grant, I believe.
Through the chair, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of movements there that are grants that our teams across community, natural environment, and our asset maintenance and water teams have secured that need to now be reflected in our budget.
Very good. Are there any further comments? We have a seconder. Councillor Jessup.
Happy to second. I just think this is a good reflection on our team and the way we are, for want of a better word, hunting down those grants that are available and making sure we've got shovel-ready projects for those grants, because otherwise we miss out. If we can't meet their guidelines, we miss out.
Yep.
Following on from that, if I may, through the chair, remind community that these grants are available to community groups as well, not particularly government ones, but there are, if you go onto the Smarty Grants page on our website, there are grants that different community groups, service clubs, schools can apply for as well, that they then don't need to come to council potentially to ask us. They can go out, and we might be able to then assist them if they've applied for a grant. So yeah, there's money out there. People just need to take time, and maybe there's consideration for another workshop in the new year to assist community on how to access those. But that's just a suggestion. But yeah, well done to everybody. So thank you.
You second it? Yep. So those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
We move on to 4.6, local law review, and Ms. Lampard will present.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Thank you. I'm presenting you today with the feedback we received from the community consultation phase of the local law review. So following council's meeting in September, where we released, we adopted 4 or 5 local laws to go out to community consultation. That consultation period was for 4 weeks. It opened on the 26th of September and closed on the 24th of October. We received a total of 223 submissions during that period, which is excellent.
Outstanding.
It's really good.
Well done to the community.
Yeah. And it was it was really good feedback that we received as well. We are actually getting dribs and drabs still coming in. So we are accepting those as well. So there were 4 key issues that the majority of the submissions were spread over, that being desexing of cats and dogs, dog off-leash areas, the wildlife-friendly barbless wire fencing, and placing the wheelie bins out 12 hours prior to collection. So those were the key areas that we knew that they were going to be contentious, or we were really wanting the feedback on those ones. So it was really good to get that feedback. So my recommendation is that council receive and note the consultation report, accept and consider every submission properly made to the local government, and publish outcomes of the consultation and thank the community for their input.
Councillor Chewy.
Sorry, happy to move. And I just want to, as we've already discussed, talk about how and thank community, because I receive many phone calls and emails myself about different issues in there. So this, we've always saying, tell us what you think, we want to hear what you say. So I thank the team for facilitating all of that. I know we had places in our libraries, we had, it was accessible to community. So well done to everybody involved, and we'll see how things move forward from here. But this is excellent work to everybody.
Councillor Littlemore.
Chair, I'd like to second that. And could I also say, I received quite a number of communications from people, and I urged them to follow the process and lodge submissions. And obviously people had a higher degree of interest because they followed that and Councillor Chewy's and I'm sure other councillors' advice. And this is what we need, there's no point in bringing policies to the table and then people complain about them. If people lodge submissions and there's a sway one way or another, then we listen to what people are saying. And I'm so pleased with the number of submissions.
So am I, 220. That's pretty impressive, really. I mean, I don't think I've seen that in my terms in here before. And noting that today's recommendation is just receiving those submissions, and now they will go to work and do up a report for it, then comes back to council for a decision. I just wanted to make that clear that this is not the decision making on those topics. It's merely receiving the submissions. So yes, I too thank the community for their wonderful input into this, because you want us to listen, we're listening, and we need you to put in the submissions so we can listen. Any further comments?
Move.
Moved, seconded. Those in favour? Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
We move on to 4.7, cemetery policy. Ms. Stoddard will present. Good morning.
Good morning. The proposed cemetery policy provides a clear framework for the respectable, sustainable and efficient management of cemeteries under the care and control of Cass Rea Coast Regional Council. The policy outlines principles and procedures for the burial rites, interments, monuments, adornments and cemetery maintenance. It ensures the cemetery operations are conducted with dignity, preserve cultural and historical significance, and align with the legislative requirements and community expectations. Adoption of the policy will support consistent decision-making, provide clarity for families and funeral directors, and safeguard cemeteries as an important community asset. The recommendation is that Council adopt the policy with an amendment to Section 9, the last sentence, which reads, removed items will be stored for a reasonable period, after which they will be disposed of, to now specify a timeframe of 60 days. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Pervin.
Yes, through the chair. Just this policy, I would like to move a motion. Like the council adopt the cemetery policy amended, the council adopt the attached cemetery policy amended so that item A under the following items are not permitted on council grave sites reads breakable items unless they are permanently installed on memorials, fixed against a headstone or placed at the head of the grave.
Have a second.
Where,
Read that again.
and where does it go?
So
Councillor?
I'd like to move a motion that we accept the cemetery policy as stated
Yes.
and amended so that item A under following items are not permitted on council grave sites reads breakable items unless they are permanently installed on memorials, fixed against the headstone or placed at the head of the grave.
So 9.A, that's what I was
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
sorry, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to
That's
support
fine.
them.
Just to get it straight in my head, that last point you made, placed at the head of the grave, they still must be fixed. Is that?
Yes.
So fixed is the first, and that rolls through the entire thing. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll have it.
Just,
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to second that.
So Councillor Pervin's moved it.
Seconded.
Second it. So those in favour of the amend of Councillor Pervin's motion? All in favour? Thank you. Carried. So that's
Motion.
the new motion and we're done. Thank you.
Just, sorry, if I may, through the chair. So we're done? Yeah.
That's it.
I just want to, this is such a sensitive subject and I appreciate the work. I think we all do. We've had a lot of discussion within the team. We visited this Innisfail Cemetery and it's not an easy subject to touch because we are dealing with people's families and memories and emotions. So I take my hat off to the team for the work that they've done and hopefully we can move forward to make these cemeteries special places and safe places for everybody. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Jessup.
Under 9.B, items deemed offensive. Can you give me an example?
Through the chair, anything that would have words with cursing, anything that is, offensive to religions of other religions.
So who would deem these offensive?
Staff as per
Through the chair, it would be the
trees.
staff on the ground at the cemeteries.
And potentially if somebody was offended by it, they could notify council. Would that be the process as well?
The chair, absolutely. We would request that they put in a customer request to which we would then action it. We would respond to them with an outcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So also further to that, we're not reinventing the wheel. This is lots of other places have cemetery policies and we've put this in place so that we can keep our cemeteries nice and beautiful and clean and tidy moving forward. So, there's always opportunities that things can be changed or reworded or if there becomes an issue. So yes, again, thank you. It is a very sensitive issue and there's been a lot of toing and froing. And as Trudy said, we went out to the cemetery and had a look ourselves and to see what sort of issues there might be there, not just for the community, but also that the issues that staff are presented with when they go there to do their work. So we could fully understand what it was all about. And again, thank you very much. So
Thank you.
Thank
have a
you.
great day.
Thank you.
Did we do the final
We did.
vote on
Yep.
Yep.
still done.
We move on to 4.7, 2026. Hang on, I just did 4.7.
4.8.
No, 4.8. Got 4.7.
4.7, yeah.
2026 local government meeting dates and Mr. Gruffin will present.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, under the Local Government Regulations 2012 and particularly Section 254B14, Public Notice of Meetings, Council is required to advertise details of its meeting dates and times. Proposed meeting dates and times from January 2026 to December 2026 for local government meetings will be required to be determined and will then be advertised on Council's website and in public spaces within Council offices. So the report provides a recommendation there around adopting the following dates for local government meetings in 2026. These are typically on the fourth Thursday of the month, with the exception there that we are proposing that the October meeting, which we typically amend a couple of months out when the LGAQ conference is announced to coincide with the fourth Thursday of the month, to push that back as we did this year, with that local government meeting occurring on the 29th of October. Also to accommodate for people taking leave and the availability of individuals in December. If we were to coincide our local government meeting with Christmas Day or Boxing Day, we're proposing to bring the December meeting forward to the 10th of December 2026. Took a workshop with council to understand the locality of these meetings. This recommendation is proposing to locate the meetings in the Tully Civic Centre. It's central to the region, providing access from Mission Beach down to Cardwell up to Innisfail. It provides the equipment that we are using here today to make sure that these meetings are made available to the public. And from an accessibility point of view, allows for members of the public to be here present with us during the council meetings. The council did, and we will work through this process down the track, did suggest that they would prefer to visit the town sites to provide information around the budget process and the projects moving forward, and found that where we have moved the local government meeting around, there's been minimal, if not no, face-to-face attendance at the local government meetings, but really good attendance where council has gone to meet with community on specific matters relating to that community. So to highlight that council's intention was certainly to get out there to the community, but in a more targeted approach, not through the local government meetings, which we all find extremely interesting and engaging, but obviously some members of the public like it a little bit more targeted. So there is a recommendation there. The second point of that just notes that in accordance with the local government regs, public notice of the meetings, the Chief Executive Officer will provide local public notice of the 2026 local government meeting dates.
Happy to so move, Chair.
Moved, councillor Littlemore.
Second.
Councillor McLeod, second. And there is the opportunity, you know, should something come up, or which things we know do happen, for us to come back to council and change those dates if need be. And as you said, we did intend to take the local government meetings around to the community, but however, we found that that wasn't the best way or use of councillors' time to communicate with the community. It's better if we just go out there and talk to them either pre or post budget about issues where they can really engage with the councillors on their issues. So yeah, great, good work. So got a mover and a seconder. Those in favour? Carried, thank you. Move on to 5.1.
Chair, these next three items being to do with the Mundu Airport, could they be moved as a block? No.
No, because I've already got the
individual.
agenda as they
Okay.
are.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
Yeah.
excuse me, there's specific details.
In each one,
Yeah.
So I invite Ms Larson up to present.
evident in the pack.
Yeah. And then-
Good morning. How are you?
Morning all. Thank you.
Morning.
So we have three reports this morning, all relating to the Innisfail Mundu Aerodrome. 5.1, this report is recommending renewal of lease L at the Innisfail Mundu Aerodrome to the existing tenant, which is JetRide NQ Limited. So under section 236 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, council must normally tender or auction valuable non-current asset contracts. However, an exception in Division 4 applies when firstly renewing a lease to an existing tenant. Secondly, when the rent is at or above market value. And thirdly, when council resolves to apply that exception. A bit of history on Jet Ride. They've occupied the lease L since 2017. The company has requested a new lease and continues to be assessed as a suitable tenant. Council's obtained an independent rental valuation from Heron Todd White, who assessed market rent at $3,438.30 per annum plus GST. The proposed lease meets these requirements. The recommended lease term is for a 10-year period, beginning 1st of October 2025 to the 30th of September 2035. The tenant will pay rents, rates, charges and all outgoings and will retain ownership of the aircraft hangar and improvements on the site. So this is an assessment of the land value only.
I was just about to ask you that.
Oh.
Thank you.
And adding to that, market rent is assessed every 5 years or reviewed every 5 years by an
Okay.
independent valuer.
Mhm.
The CPI is reviewed annually for all of these leases.
Very good.
So there's no cost to council. Annual revenue from rent and rates is estimated at $6,941.14. Any risks to council are managed through standard lease terms, which require maintenance, insurance and compliance. The recommendation for 5.1 is that council apply the exception contained in section 236(1)(c)(3) of the Local Government Regulation 2012 to grant a lease to Jet Ride NQ Proprietary Limited containing the following key terms. A, lessee is Jet Ride NQ Pty Ltd. B, the premises are over lease area L, lot 99 on SP 16926 Mundu Aerodrome, Mundu. The term 1st of October 2025 to 30th of September 2035. D, the rent is $3,438.30 per annum plus GST. E, outgoings, rates and charges are payable by the lessee. F, permitted use is aircraft hangar. G, ownership of the buildings. The lessee retains all of its right, title and interest in the improvements constructed on the land. And if necessary, the council transfers any interest it has in those improvements to the lessee. Secondly, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate the final terms of the lease consistent with the above terms and execute that lease on behalf of the council as lessor. And thirdly, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to ensure ongoing compliance with all terms and conditions of the lease.
Thank you. I've just got a question. So can they sublet that under their lease?
Through the chair, providing they have consent from the council.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, good. Any further questions?
Happy to move that, Chair.
Move that. Councillor Littlemore moved.
I'll second it.
It's seconded by councillor Pervin. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. 5.2, Ms. Larson.
Thank you. 5.2 again is over lease M at Innisfail Mundu Aerodrome. This report seeks to renew lease M for the existing tenant, which is West Air Proprietary Limited. Under section 236 of the Local Government Regulation, we must normally go to tender for leases unless exception 4 applies. In this case, the renewal qualifies.
Where has councillor Joy gone? Well,
Still got a few quorum if you want to continue.
We've got a quorum, you can
okay,
continue.
Continue on.
Okay, thank you. In this case, the renewal qualifies for the exception because it's a lease to an existing tenant and the proposed rent meets independent market valuation. West Air's leased this site since 2018 and has requested a new 10-year lease from the 1st of October 2025 to the 30th of September 2035. An independent valuation by Heron Todd White assessed the market rent at $5,028.75 per annum plus GST, which forms the basis of this proposal. The tenant's again responsible for all outgoings, including rates, utilities, maintenance and insurance, and retains ownership of the existing hangars and improvements. Estimated annual income from rent and rates combined totals $8,546.47. Standard lease terms again manage the risks related to maintenance, compliance and termination. The recommendation is that Council applies the exception contained in section 2361C3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 to grant a lease to West Air Proprietary Limited containing the following key. Lessee, West Air Proprietary Limited. Premises, lease area M, lot 99 on SP 181493 Innisfail Mundu Aerodrome. Term is 1st of October 2025 to 30th of September 2035. Rent $5,028.75 per annum plus GST. Outgoings, rates and charges payable by the lessee. Permitted use, aircraft hangar and associated aeronautical operations. Ownership of the buildings, the lessee retains all of its right, title and interest in the improvements constructed on the land, and if necessary, the council transfers any interest it has in those improvements to the lessee. Secondly, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate the final terms of the lease consistent with the above terms and execute that lease on behalf of the council as lessor. And thirdly, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to ensure ongoing compliance with all terms and conditions of the lease. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to move.
Moved by councillor Baines. Seconded by councillor McLeod. Those in favour? Thank you. Okay, 5.3.
5.3, similarly, leases N and P over Innisfail Aerodrome, Mundu. This report seeks approval to renew leases N and P at the Innisfail Aerodrome for the existing tenant Lomkovac Proprietary Limited, trading as Bob Harris's Flying School. Lomkovac Proprietary Limited has leased these areas since 2016 and has requested new leases. They remain a suitable tenant for aviation training operations. Council again has engaged Heron Todd White to assess the market rent, which was determined to be $7,249.50 per annum for both areas combined. The proposed 10-year lease will run from the 1st of October 2025 to the 30th of September 2035. Again, the tenant will pay rent, rates and all outgoings and will retain ownership of the hangars and improvements located on the two lease areas. Estimated annual income in total from rent and rates is $11,270.86, and lease conditions cover maintenance, insurance and compliance. So the recommendation is that firstly, exception contained in section 2361C3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 to grant a lease to Lomkovac Proprietary Limited, trading as Bob Harris's Flying School, contains the following key terms. The lessee, Lomkovac Proprietary Limited, trading as Bob Harris Flying School, premises, leases, areas N and P, lot 99 on SP 169226, Innisfail Aerodrome, Mundu. Term 1st of October 2025 to 30th of September 2035. Rent $7,249.50 per annum, total for the both leases, plus any GST that applies. Outgoings, rates and charges payable by the lessee. Permitted use, aircraft hangar and associated aeronautical operations. Ownership of the buildings. The lessee retains all its right, title and interest in the improvements constructed on the land. And if necessary, the council transfers any interest it has in those improvements to the lessee. Secondly, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate the final terms of the lease consistent with the above terms and execute that lease on behalf of council as lessor. And thirdly, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to ensure ongoing compliance with all terms and conditions of the lease.
Councillor Pervin,
I'll move it.
you'll move it? Thank you.
Happy to second,
Councillor
Chair.
Littlemore, second. Any comments? Those in favour? Carried, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Move on to 5.5, water and wastewater, and Mr Mushimishi will present. Good morning, how are you?
Calling this 5.5.
Haven't brought any liquid sunshine with you at this point. Stop those creeks.
No, it's looking pretty dry and late.
I know, right?
Expecting
Anyway,
a storm this afternoon though.
we don't want to, thanks ourselves. Yeah. Over to you.
I'm presenting a water and wastewater performance report. The Cassowary Coast Regional Council is a registered water service provider under the Supply Safety and Reliability Act 2008. One of the legislative obligations is to provide an annual performance report on prescribed indicators nominated by the Department of Local Government, Water and Volunteers. The data required by the regulator covers details such as connected populations, asset information, water treatment, sewage treatment, volumes, staff information, performance, systems, customer service, and financials. The water and sewage data required by the regulator is uploaded through the statewide water information management system to meet the lodgement dates. In addition, the lodgement of the data into the SWIM system, Council also is required to publish its performance with commentary on key indicators. This report satisfies Council's requirements under Section 142A of the Water Supply Safety and Reliability Act to prepare a performance report on water and sewage services for the 2024 and 25 financial year. The report provides an overview of the region's water and sewage schemes, followed by discussion on results of some key performance indicators for water services and sewage services lodged into the SWIM system. This report also includes an overview of the Cassowary Coast Regional Council's adopted customer service standards and the performance against these standards. A major component of the report documents the performance of Council's drinking water service with respect to water quality and performance in implementing the actions detailed in the Drinking Water Quality Management Plan, as required under the Water Supply and Safety and Reliability Act. The report assists the regulator to determine whether the approved Drinking Water Quality Management Plan and the approved conditions have been complied with. It also provides a mechanism for providers to report publicly on their performance in managing drinking water quality. I'll just portion of the report data nominated in the key performance indicators. The council has set a customer service standard target for water and sewage, and I'll just highlight some of the aspects that we have met we've achieved most of our customer service targets. And I'll highlight ones where we need areas of improvement. So water main breaks, incidences of unplanned interruptions, and rate of system water loss. So these three areas are related to essentially our condition of our old mains, and that's reflected in our budgeting for main replacements. And the other area this year was odor complaints for sewage. And most of those are coming from one location. And we're working towards a solution. We think we've got a solution for that one. Should be an improvement for that next year. And should we go on to recommendation?
Yeah.
Recommendation that council endorses Cassowary Coast Regional Council Water and Sewerage Services Performance Report for 2024 and 2025. 2, recognises the high level of non-revenue water and supports continued implementation of council's leak reduction strategy. And 3, endorses the continued advocacy with federal and state governments for additional grant funding to replace ageing water main assets to assist in achieving targets for water main breaks.
Councillor Baines.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to commend Mr. Musumeci and the team on this work. Again, this report, and we have the background, which gives us a lovely short version of it, but I would recommend to all the community, and not just because of the subject matter primarily, but this is not a dry read. It's a very good read. Have a look at it, but it gives you the data and shows you the risk that not just Cassowary Coast Regional Council, but all local governments in Queensland have around ageing assets and the works we're trying to do to catch up with the replacement of these ageing assets that have been buried under the ground forever, and you know what it's like.
But through our new AMPs,
And this is absolutely. Thank you very much. You were on it. You're on it. So as I said, I would again, I will move the recommendation, obviously, but also recommend to anyone who is interested, have a read of the report. And I'm going to say again, it's not a dry read, just because that's funny, but have a look at the report, and
Mr.
it's
Musumeci.
well worthwhile.
Thanks, Councillor Baines. Mr. Musumeci, that odour complaint that's coming from one particular area, why is there a particular reason why that would be more prominent at this particular time? Is it an ongoing complaint that's been there for a long time, or is it something new?
I think it's related to new establishments that haven't been operated for a long time, and now they're being operated. So it's changed the dynamic of the sewage in that area. But we think we're a solution for that.
Okay, is that an increase in residents in that particular area, or is it?
I think it's related to a
pump station, or
it's a facility, like a holiday facility that's
Extra.
Increase in usage.
that wasn't being used, but now
As a holiday, okay.
Okay, righto.
Through the chair, I mean, this is a retrospective report that looks back previously, so most of those issues are resolved, and
Okay.
can share the 3 other issues are interrelated. So we talk about water mains and service interruptions, unplanned service interruptions, and then water loss and non-revenue water. Those 3 things are interrelated. The QAO's recently highlighted that local governments in general, they have a challenge at the moment around their asset consumption ratio. So our assets across all asset classes, we are above ratio, which is 60%, and they sit, but our water assets are typically sat around that 43%. That said, our asset sustainability ratio, so the funding we put into renewing our assets sits just under that 100%. So we are renewing. Interestingly, in the water assets, about $83 million worth of our assets out of our $330 million worth of water mains actually sit with a remaining useful life of less than 5 years. So we've got an immediate need to accelerate the renewal of our water mains, and pleased to say through Council's allocation of Works for Queensland funding, the WISER funding, we had over $8 million worth of WISER funding, which is highlighted in the report. We've gone from 21-22, we were investing about 2.9 million dollars in water main renewals to last year it was over $12.5 million went into water main renewals. So we're trying to hit that. The good news story is that outside of that 5 years, we've only got about $30 million worth of assets that sit within that 5 and 15-year bracket. So the advocacy for additional funding, both from the state and federal government for local governments like ourselves, is really critical at the moment as we try and play catch up. And we know that that's a short-term need, and then we will be back on top of these assets. And like I said, new water mains reduce the number of breaks. The reduction in number of breaks reduces the unplanned outages that our community have. And again, the unplanned breaks also release a lot of non-revenue water out to the environment. So again, this is retrospective. That $12 million we'll really start to see the influence and impact of that renewal, particularly out near, we're working at the moment out near Marty Street and East Innisfail, areas like that, where there's a lot of work going on at the moment. There's been a huge amount of work in Tully, Cardwell. We're seeing lost revenue water reduce as well. So really hoping that next year we start to see the benefit of that increased spend, and we can demonstrate to the state and federal government the importance and the actual tangible outcomes that come from this investment in water infrastructure.
Absolutely, yeah. The other thing is that people just think that water falls out of the sky and comes out of the tap, and we've got all these assets that people don't see. It's got to be tested, it's got to go through pipes, it's got to go through pump stations, people have to go and daily test it, like all those things that you don't see, which will become, I believe, part of the strategy. So there's a new strategy being done.
The draft's sitting at the moment for review before it will come back again to council to consider. So that water security strategy, like I said, we've got this little backlog at the moment that we need to work through. Then we're looking pretty good. And unlike I think everyone's acutely aware of the challenges Cairns has got at the moment. They don't have enough water for Mount Peters. The $400+ million investment at the moment, I think, gets them through to about 2032. It's a fairly short time horizon. We are quite lucky that this strategy indicates that we have sufficient infrastructure and capacity. The big challenge, like you said, when the water does come from the sky, we increase turbidity, and we can't draw that water in. Increased turbidity impacts our ability to actually treat that water. So the strategy will certainly look at some different ways to top up those tanks, I think, when we do get some of those those larger rain events.
Any further comments? Councillor Littlemore.
Chair, I'd like to second the motion.
Yes?
I'd also like to add comment, if I may.
Yep, sure.
Councillor Baines suggested that this is a good read. And look, there's good news stories in here. If you look at the amount of water that our team treats a year, page 476 gives you some statistics about the number of people in our community that are serviced. 6,253 million litres is a lot of water to deliver and ensure that it's safe for people to drink. The number of times that we put people on boil water notice is so few nowadays. And just going back to that sunshine that falls from the sky, we're also kind of lucky that when we do start into the wet season, it reduces enormously the drain on our reservoirs for uses other than drinking, because your lawn and your gardens are getting a drink. So those when water is really turbid, the demand on the system is low. So if our reservoirs are full and we have sufficient reservoirs, we can ride out that turbidity. So we're in a very lucky situation, just that we do need that water strategy to ensure that when we do have some growth, and we are expecting growth with the Eaton Estate, things are going ahead in leaps and bounds. Dwellings, our planning applications are through the roof compared to previous years. This is a community that is growing, and our water need will grow. So as the portfolio holder, I'm really looking forward to seeing that strategy where we'll have our water supply secure.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we got a mover and a seconder. Any further comments, or we go to the vote? All in favour?
We went to the vote.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andrew.
Well done.
Move on to 6.
Thank you, Mr. Musumeci.
And Ms Perkins will present. And Mr Horton.
Ms Perkins, Mr Horton, good morning.
Morning, council. Morning.
Gentlemen. Thank you.
It's a lovely warm day we've got today.
Yes,
It's lovely and warm in here.
Grateful we're here. Okay, today I'm here to present a report for you for material application for a service station, a 24-hour unmanned truck stop and associated advertising device. It's known as MCU 25/0022 and it's proposed on land described as Lot 3 on T74661 and Lot 2 on T746107, situated at 59462 Bruce Highway, Tully. A lot of you will know this as the old Tully BP service station site, which has been vacant and dormant for a number of years now. Okay, so this application is seeking a development permit for the use that I've just described, and it will be operated, as I said, on a 24-hour unmanned diesel fuel truck stop. And the application has been prepared by Adams and Sparks Town Planning on behalf of Ocwen Energy Proprietary Limited. The application is proposed within the township zone, Tully Industry Precinct, and excuse me, as I said, the applicant, Ocwen Energy Proprietary Limited, is part of a joint venture with BP Australia trading as Lowe's Petroleum. The proposed service station will provide a key facility for regional bulk refueling services for a range of customers, from farmers to transport companies, offering the 24-hour fully automated refueling facility that will operate without on-site staff. It is intended that facility will be equipped with automated fuel dispensers and a self-service payment terminal, allowing customers to refuel and pay independently. The proposed development consists of a fuel refueling canopy to a maximum height of 6.5 metres and 3 bowsers capable of servicing 2 articulated vehicles at any one time. Other structures on the site will include an above-ground fuel storage tank and a control room, amenities facility, plus a dedicated service vehicle parking bay. No rest stop provisions, wash bays, shops or food and drink services are proposed with this development application. Access to the site will be via 2 new crossovers, one-way entry and one-way exit to and from the Bruce Highway. The proposed access crossovers and all vehicle parking and manoeuvring areas will be sealed, with the remainder of the site and the perimeters to be landscaped and boundary fencing provided to the northern, southern and rear boundaries. The proposed facility includes the refueling court, which will be at flood-resistant levels. A bioretention basin area has been allowed for in the design, and should the final detailed design adopt a bioretention basin for stormwater quality treatment strategy. The bioretention area may not be required if the final detailed design adopts a proprietary device treatment system instead. Both options have been provided to allow flexibility in design choice at the detailed design stage. The refueling area has been designed to capture hydrocarbons for treatment and attains a reasonable level of flood resilience to ensure no worsening to adjoining properties will be experienced. The refueling area will be bundled to ensure runoff in this area is captured and pre-treated via the proprietary device hydrocarbon separation system before being diverted to the tertiary stormwater quality treatment system. The applicant submits that the proposed development captures all stormwater via internal stormwater drainage infrastructure, which will be undertaken at the detailed design stage by a civil engineer and/or building hydraulic engineer before it is diverted to the on-site stormwater quality treatment system prior to discharge to the existing lawful point of discharge. A flood impact assessment submitted with the application ensures the development will provide a suitable flood immunity from peak 1% AEP levels to the fueling forecourt area. The report also provides flood risk assessment, which analyses the characteristics of the peak flood event and outlines potential risk management considerations to be adopted to minimise any risks that may arise. The application triggered referral to the State Assessment Referral Agency, SARA, due to the site's proximity to the state-controlled road being the Bruce Highway, and SARA has provided a response in relation to the development application, which is shown as in the attachment to Planning Assessment Report. The application was impact assessable and required public notification. No submissions were received by council during the public notification period. Located within the urban footprint and generally consistent with the provisions of the Far North Queensland Regional Plan and the Cassowary Coast Regional Council Planning Scheme, the development application for material change of use for a service station, a 24-hour unmanned truck stop, and associated advertising device is therefore recommended for approval, subject to reasonable and relevant conditions, which are shown in attachment 1 of the agenda report. Happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Councillor Chewy.
Thank you. Through the chair, it talks about no rest stop. Was that ever discussed as a possibility that there would be? I know you go to the service station and often you need to go to the loo, especially truck drivers that are driving for long periods of time. So was there a discussion, and can there be one considered if needed later on? Does that make sense to you?
There is one. Through the chair, no, there was no discussion, but there is a truck parking bay on the site plan.
We're talking about toilets.
Toilets.
There is.
Yeah, so there is a toilet. Yeah.
Stop provisions. I misunderstood.
Through the chair, there'll be a unisex set up.
Yeah, okay, I misunderstood, so I apologise for that. Thank you.
Sharing toilet in that queue.
Yeah, okay, I don't.
It's not a place to pull up and park your vehicle.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Okay, misunderstanding. Apologies. Thank you.
Councillor Baines.
I hope I get this one right.
Sorry.
I wanted to talk to the site-based stormwater management plan report, which is a great report, as well as is the flood report. I see they've been put together quite extensively, and they're treating most of the matters because urban water quality is becoming more prominent in our spaces as we're speaking. There's a new plan coming out. So, and I've read through it all. You've got all the retention and the treatments. Is that monitored regularly by the operators, or would it be monitored by ourselves? How would that be monitored into the future so that we know it's continuing to
Yes, through the chair, it does have automatic leak detection gauging systems built into the design. So yes, it will be the responsibility of the operator to monitor those impacts.
Okay.
And deal with any, should they, and hopefully they do not, but should they arise.
Yeah. That's right. As long as there's a process.
Yes, there is.
That's great. Thank you. Excellent.
So if somebody had a suspicion, then we could go to them and say, show us your report for the month of whatever to say, no, okay.
Through the chair, we could also do our own testing as well. We can take samples and
Yeah,
test
right.
in the stormwater network. We do that on a lot of other
And it's
situations.
above ground fuel storage too, didn't it? It's not going in the ground. So that's a good thing too. Okay, no worries. So happy to move it. Seconded by councillor Jessup. Those in favour?
That's great.
Thank you.
Great report. Thank you.
Move on to the next one. 6.2, over to you, Mr. Horton.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. 6.2, application for reduction infrastructure charges relating to RAL 2523. It's a reconfig one lot into 3 lots. It's at 72 Tully Heads Road, Tully Heads. Council, this is the 3rd application, the 3rd stage. So far this developer has produced 8 lots on this corner. So this is the last 3 lots in that subdivision. So we're in receipt of the request from Mr. Anthony Greaves for 100% reduction infrastructure charges relating to that application. So the application was approved by council subject conditions on the 1st of September this year, with an infrastructure charges notice issued for the amount of $35,207.46. The proposed development complies with the eligibility and assessment criteria, so it meets all the criteria outlined in there. It's zone residential. We've taken the appropriate easements, drainage, all those types of aspects. They built channel and curb on Melaleuca Drive and so forth in the 2nd stage. As council be fully aware, there's a couple of houses and sheds being built there at the current time. So they're moving at the moment in Tully Heads, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
So council has recommended for a request for 100% reduction by the officers and provided all the works associated with the development as contained within the reconfiguring lot approval and some op works that are required is done by the 1st of September 2028. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'm happy to move that, Chair,
Moved by councillor Little.
being my patch of the.
And the
Catholic Coast.
trunk infrastructure is already there. I mean, it's not like it's brand new. There's plenty of houses around there, and it's good to see that they are breaking this up into lots. And you know, we have a housing crisis all over the state, all over the country, really. So you know, it allows for a few more people to move to the Cassowary Coast, which is what we encourage. So yeah, I think it's great.
Gonna-
Second at councillor Pervin, very, very good. Any further comments or questions? Those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much.
Can I just say something?
Absolutely, Ken.
Madam Mayor, I just want to pass on about a lady, Liz Taylor. She used to work on a number of appeals for council, run Planning Far North for numerous years, and went into just having her own business as Liz Taylor Planning. Sat on many appeals with myself and actually did a lot of assessments in the early days back prior to me coming here and after I come here in 06. So this year she's retiring from planning, being a major person in that aspect throughout the years that she's been doing it. Part of the regional plan process that we're dealing with at the moment. She works a lot for Etheridge and those shires out west. So I just wanted to wish her the best in retirement and thank her for the work that she done for council, especially in those appeals as expert planners during that time. So yeah, council, I just wanted to wish her the best.
Great, good work. Good work. Hope she has a lovely retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, council.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good day.
We will.
We go on to our favourite subject, general business. For any general business in the room, councillor Jessup.
Just a few things. The QCWA are celebrating their 100 years of dedicated service to our community. Well done. They're holding their luncheon at the Country Club this year on the 29th, which is Saturday. So anyone wants to give them a shout out, that'd be lovely. Don't forget there's level 1 water restrictions that start tomorrow. Check the number of your house, odd and even numbers, and check the council website for any more detail. And also the Chamber of Commerce are holding their meeting on the 2nd of December, which is Tuesday. And they'll also be kicking off disaster preparedness events. So this is, if you want to go to one Chamber of Commerce meeting, this will be it, because this is going to be a very special event. So you know what to do in case of an emergency, because let's face it, everyone does get complacent over the years. So yeah, that's all I've really got for you. That's the 2nd of December.
Thank you. Councillor Littlemore.
Chair, as you know, I don't normally have much in the way of general business, but today is a special day. The people of Cardwell have renewed enthusiasm for the potential of the Port of Hinchinbrook. The Queensland government is stepping up to the plate. They've got the pockets that we certainly don't have in terms of cash. This council and this community has never been closer to a solution to the ongoing challenge down at Port Hinchinbrook. So Economic Development Queensland has hit the ground running. I say congratulations to the Queensland government. Congratulations to you, Mayor, for staying on this. Congratulations also to the former member who continued to pursue it. So I think we're in a great place, and I'd just like to thank all those who've remained firm in getting the job done. Just, until the job is done, we'll never know, but we haven't been closer, and the optimism is just incredible.
Yeah, and further to that, Councillor Littlemore, I'd like to thank all the community who've turned up for the consultation period with Economic Development Queensland, and we will work with Economic Development Queensland to find a long-term solution. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen. And the more feedback we get, probably the sooner we'll find a solution. So yeah, good job.
Thank you, Chair.
Councillor McLeod?
Yeah, thank you through the chair. To kick off the festive season, I just wanted everybody to know that the Innisfail Rotary Christmas Street Party is happening this Saturday in Edith Street, the main street there, and through Canecutter Court. There will be a slight road closure on Rankin Street. But come down Saturday, the festivities kick off at 4 o'clock and we'll go till 9. And the big cracker draw that's happening has got over $17,000 worth of vouchers from local businesses. So that'll be getting drawn at 8 o'clock, and there will be cash bonuses for those that are there on the night of $1,500 and $200. So be there to win the cash bonuses plus your crackers. So there's lots of stuff happening. There's free, oh my gosh, free face painting, free inflatables. Yeah, characters are coming. The Grinch will be there, and Santa and Mrs. Claus will also be there to get photos with. So get onto Edith Street and let's kick off the festive season.
Councillor Chewy?
Thank you. I have a few items.
Oh, surprise.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Just, if I don't know Mr. Goodman or the CEO, there has been some concerns about Perry Harvey Jetty and the area that's been petitioned off. It's now secured. So just, is there any update on what is moving forward is likely to happen with that being accessible or not to community?
Through the chair, there is some damage to the stairs at Perry Harvey Jetty. There's a historic council resolution that the jetty would be moving forward, not a jetty which we would be maintaining to a standard where vessels would be berthing on the jetty. It is or has been resolved by council that it would be a fishing platform. I think at that time it was indicated it would have a life up until about 2049. A considerable life as a fishing platform. Officers at the moment are just undertaking some work to understand what the cost of repairs to the stairs will look like, and we'll bring that back to council for consideration. Obviously, if that's a few $1,000s and can be undertaken through our operating budgets, then that's an easy process. If we are looking in the vicinity of $200,000 to $300,000 to replace stairs, and obviously marine environments are harsh, unforgiving environments, then we would bring that back to council to consider. We don't have a budget of that sort of
It
quantity.
has been asked, do we know what how the damage was caused? No, I don't think anybody knows, but I've just been asked to.
I think the important part of that conversation is that we have to realise that it is no longer a jetty. It's now classified as a fishing platform.
And well,
Is that right, Mr. Goodman?
Yeah. And can I add to that, a well-utilised?
Yes, it is. Well, yeah, absolutely.
It's a great
yeah.
space. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there is a difference in a definition there, I would imagine.
Yes.
So maybe we need to
Think about the name.
sift that out.
Oh,
and
it's
think about
historical,
the
but
important-
yeah. Thank you. And further to Councillor Pervin, I just want to thank DTMR for the work. There is a lot happening. Tully Mission Beach Road is frustrating because you do have to wait, but the outcome is going to be amazing. So I thank everybody for their patience. People are being cautious. Think of those poor road workers out in that heat, but it's coming along. It's looking magnificent. At Carramine Beach, Murdering Point Road, DTMR were there yesterday and put a white paint around the traffic island in the middle because it blended in with the road. I would like to have had it gurneyed, but anyway, I'll be grateful for the white paint. And they were again at the Tully Mission Beach turn off this morning as well. So
They were.
yeah, well done to DTMR. I do have a piece through the chair, Mayor, that I would like to have logged as minutes, recorded as minutes, please. Thank you. The role of a councillor can be a challenging one with its rewards and its frustrations. The role, however, does not give people the right to verbally abuse a councillor or council staff. I would like to refer to a particular incident that happened to me on a Sunday afternoon at Wongaling Beach, when a local resident used language directed at myself that I cannot repeat in this room. These sentences repeated several times, but without any clarification as to what the actual problem was that this man was referring to. I would like to advise the community that if they have issues with words or actions of a councillor, that the Queensland Office of the Independent Assessor is the proper authority to report these matters to. Alternatively, if you have an issue with a council staff member, then an email to the CEO outlining the perceived transgression would be the correct way to deal with the matter. Council has an adopted unreasonable customer conduct policy, which outlines Council's duty of care to ensure the health, safety and well-being of our staff and elected members, and describes the actions that can be taken to limit the risk of further abusive or aggressive interactions. This policy is available on Council's website. I did speak to the local police about this situation as I was concerned the behaviour might be repeated or escalated, and this matter has now been recorded and logged. Every person has the right to go to work and go about their daily business and feel safe. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Hear,
Thanks for
hear.
that.
Well said.
Absolutely. Is there any more general business? Councillor Baines.
Thank you, Chair. Far be it from me to not say something. Actually, Mayor, it's a piece that I would like to pass on from the RSL committee in Innisfail. I do believe that yourself and the CEO may have received a letter of thanks from the Innisfail RSL, and I would just like to reiterate that and attach my personal thanks to council and the team for the works that you've performed just before Remembrance Day, which was fantastic. And I will say that it was one of the best Remembrance Day ceremonies in living memory that's been held in Innisfail in particular. So I'm not saying it's purely around the work that council did, but it helps and it brings it along. So again, please pass on my personal congratulations to the team, and I thank all the councillors and the CCR team for their support around those very special occasions. So thank you, Madam Mayor.
And, you know, I'll go on further to that. And that's because they liaise with us. Like, I encourage any community group or resident of the Cassowary Coast, if they have an issue, either ring your councillor or go on the website, put in a request. I mean, we only know what we know. So if you've got an issue, there's always, I'm pretty sure there's always a solution to the problem most of the time, apart from Port Hinchinbrook for the last 15 years. But yeah, I think, you know, if you've got an issue, just let's put it on the table and talk about it, because most of the time there's a simple solution and good outcomes like that can happen. And back to the Port Hinchinbrook thing, I want to commend our team that have worked on this long before I even came along. It's been going on.
A long time.
Well, would it be 15 years? Would
Since
it be
Yasi.
longer?
Since Yasi.
Yeah, since
Yeah, even before. And, you know, the work that has gone into this and the hours that have been spent looking at the information and the hours spent dealing with the legalities and the liquidators, and nobody sees all of that. So I really like to thank our team for all the work that they've done in this space. It really should be commended, because nobody actually sees any of that. All they just see is the bricks and mortar down there. So yeah, I thank you, and we'll continue to get a good outcome there. All right,
I've got one. Sorry,
we've got one. Councillor Pervin.
I'll pipe in. Just one for the CEO. Mr. CEO, just residents have been on my case for months and months now about a 2-minute parking bay in Innisfail CBD. We've got a sign there, but they're asking for the painting on the road just because there's people that are using it, abusing it. They can't see the 2-minute sign. It blends in with a 2-hour parking bay. Can you please let me know when that'll be painted? Please.
Through the chair, I'd have to take that one on notice. I know it's unless Mr. Goodman's got it, but it's not a yeah. I don't think that the hatching of that is a typical treatment, but I might leave that to Mr. Goodman to
We'll talk about
detail.
it enough. Everyone knows. Just saying.
Through the chair, I've just got an update on that particular issue, and that there's a specific stencil that's been ordered to allow that to happen, and we actually expect that to be received today. So confirm that we've got that, and then look to implement that line marking as soon as
You've got to
possible.
paint those, isn't it now?
not if you do it early in the morning.
So while we got you here further, then, is that the same sort of stencil that could be used down at the boat ramp at Mission Beach where people continually park in the rigging area? I mean, I know we've got signs there, but obviously people don't read signs, but then they want to ring me and scream down the phone that they've been fined because they've parked in an area that they're not supposed to park in. So, I mean, by putting the lines on the road, it can't be any more obvious, can it, really?
Would make it more obvious through the chair. As a user of that facility, I've never been under any confusion about where the rigging area is, and
Neither
where the
have I,
parking
but
area.
a lot
I
have.
have asked for several occasions to have marking on the guttering there that says no parking
Yeah.
or something. So if people face.
To your question, I've just
Sorry.
Well, no,
I
I put you
don't-
on the spot. I
don't
do know
think
that,
that
yeah.
the stencil that we've got for that, but if there was would be appropriate for a rigging area, but if that was a wish of council to add some additional line marking, certainly can be done.
Thanks, Mr. Goodman, for that. I wasn't expecting that.
Lucky day, councillor Purvis.
Councillor Littlemore.
She'd like to remain.
Removes all the excuses then, doesn't it?
Yeah,
More.
before, usually don't have much in the way of general business.
Yes.
And you don't miss what's missing. That, and what I'm referring to is complaints about our unsealed road network. It's been a very long time, and congratulations to Mr. Goodman and his team for the good work that they're doing, because the complaints have dropped to zero.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you, Mr.
Well
Goodman.
done. Raining yet.
Pass it on to your team.
Hasn't started raining yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite.
And I know it's very challenging when it's dry to try and, keep a dirt road in good condition. But let's hope we just get some gentle sprinkles to start with.
Through the chair, a few gentle sprinkles, and then we can nail the dust complaints
Yeah.
as well. So
You can't
Well
win.
done.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, any further general business comments? No, we'll move into the closed session. The meeting will now be closed to the public in accordance with the Local Government Act, section 254J13G, negotiations relating to a commercial matter involving the local government for which a discussion would be likely to prejudice the interests of the local government. To consider the following reports, item 8.1, Eaton Estate, tender consideration, and item 8.2, contract CCW 000328 Eddie Bay Road Bridge Replacement. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by councillor Chewy, seconded by councillor Littlemore. Those in favour?
Yep.
Thank you.
Councillor Pervin, you're going to reiterate your leaving the meeting, is that right?
Out of the closed session, can I have a mover and seconder? Moved by councillor Chewy, seconded by councillor Littlemore.
Councillor Millard, I'm just going to leave.
Councillor Pervin will leave the room now. Thank you. That brings us to the close of the meeting. So thanks everybody and have a great day.